This is the Wonderfully Made podcast, and I'm your host, Fifi Buchanan. On this show, I share personal experiences, narrate stories I've written to reveal truths about life and the human experience. I also share lifestyle improvement tips in bite-sized episodes, so you can listen during your commute, in the office, or in the comfort of your own home. My desire is that every time you listen, you are reminded that you are wonderfully made. There's one thing I find annoying, and it's a big part of why I'm so cautious about sharing my dreams. I say I want to do something, and a person will immediately reply with, "It's a lot of work," or "That's really hard to do." What compounds it for me is if that person has already done the thing themselves. What sometimes registers for me is the tendency of human beings to be individualistic, to feel that their experiences are entirely unique, or that they achieved everything on their own. In reality, I believe so much of what we do or succeed at, even fail at, is a series of connected events, and an effort that depends on the favorability of timing, circumstances, support system, persistence, skills, and probably a lot more. What I believe is that a lot of things in life are hard, especially the things I find most worthwhile. They may come with a certain level of smoothness, or I may have a peace knowing it's the right decision, but it still takes work. So that is why today I want to talk about readiness. At the crux of the conversation, whether or not people dare to say it, is people believing you need to be ready to do certain things. And to them, readiness means you possess all the skills to be successful when you set out to do something. But I have found there are important characteristics that aren't easy to quantify, like willingness, determination, ability to learn, being able to take feedback well. You can get all the advice in the world, prepare as much as you can, gather every certification, but part of the journey will always be being brave enough to try, knowing that what works exceedingly well for some may not work for you. Or even still, we should keep in mind that you might actually be successful and just find that it's not as enjoyable as you thought it would be. So, the reason I want to talk about readiness is because those voices of people in the past who have discouraged us may come to mind when we're trying something new. We may hear that person implying we aren't ready yet, or that they have X years of experience or money or opportunity before they were able to try that thing. And it deters us from trying the thing we really want to try. I'm not suggesting you go into anything unresearched or ill-prepared. I'm suggesting that you're no less capable of being who you need to be to achieve what's important to you. Whether it's a job, moving to another country, having a child, making new friends in a new city, you are no less capable than anyone else. When we are on the receiving end of someone being vulnerable enough to share their dreams, what about more productive conversation? What about sharing excitement about the new adventure? What about saying, "Is there any way I can support you on this?" Or, "I'm excited for you. That sounds so interesting." I have found often people find a way to center themselves in a way that's not productive, saying things like, "I don't know how you do it. I could never." And it may seem like a compliment, but it can come off a little passive aggressive, as if what the person is taking on is completely ridiculous. There's no perfect formula for these conversations, but entering with an open heart really helps. And I think we should also just admit to ourselves that none of us really know everything. None of us are ever going to get to a point where we know what we're doing. And if we get to a place where we are unsatisfied, we have the freedom to change course. If there is something you want to do for yourself and you aren't sure if you are ready, consider the fact that certain opportunities for growth will only reveal themselves as we step into different roles. There is no perfect point where we are healed, or where grief is completely eliminated, or where we become infallible at work, or all-knowing as a parent or spouse. Every lived opportunity is teaching you something about what you want or what you don't want, or it propels you forward or propels you backwards. To gain management experience, you need to manage. To gain teaching experience, you need to teach. There are a lot of smaller skills that are building us up to be able to take on the next opportunity, but we literally have to get out there and try in order to mature into things and become a better version of ourselves. I think sometimes our fear of not being ready is also because of perfectionism. Certain things we do, we will have to come out of the shadows and be more visible. And then if we fail, it means we could be subject to the judgment of others, from others of whom their opinions we really respect. But here's the thing. People have their opinions of us either way. So why not do what brings you joy, adventure, peace, and personal development? When we allow our fear of failure to be the dominant theme in our mind, we will talk ourselves out of any and everything. With all the hesitation and procrastination, we are only missing out on development opportunities, and that is such a bummer. Now, I'm not saying be reckless. I'm definitely not saying be arrogant, but you're ready for more than you think you are. And the little mess-ups that we may have along the way, those to me are welcome opportunities for growth. Anyone trying to scare you or talk you out of your goals may be projecting or even underestimating you, and that's their bad. That's on them. But it's only on you if you choose to listen to them. When you have those doubts in your head about starting or stepping out for that next big thing, ask yourself these questions. 1. Why have I decided to question whether or not I am capable? 2. When is the last time I tried something brave and it worked out? How did that feel? 3. What joy or personal sense of pride will I feel if I give this a try? 4. What might be next for me if I give this a try? 5. What might the child version of me think if I gave up on my dream? I hope you can use this as part of your thought process of challenging doubts and unhelpful thoughts. I sometimes find myself wanting to call them negative thoughts, but when I call them negative, I feel a certain amount of condemnation and guilt. I start to be hard on myself for not being positive enough. So instead, I say unhelpful because sometimes the thoughts are real and true, but they're not helpful at all to where I want to be in life or where I'm going. Readiness is a myth. No one is ever completely ready for most things they do. You just have to give things a try and improve as you go. Thanks for listening.